Good morning. This coming weekend is Pentecost. So a couple things about this weekend. One, I encourage you to wear bright colors, red, orange, yellows, symbolic of that Pentecost fire, that Pentecost flame that we think about this time of year when Pentecost rolls around. And when we think about that story and we think about those colors, and it's a loud story, it's a bright story, it's a story with loud noises and dancing tongues of flame and disciples speaking in languages that they don't normally speak in. And so it's loud and it's big and it's bold. And part of what we can do by dressing in that way is to symbolize that part of the story. But one of the things I've realized is that's not often how we experience, or maybe even ever, how we experience the Holy Spirit, how we experience God's work, Christ's work in our lives and in our world and in our communities and where we go to work and where we interact with other folks. It's not often that same type of experience. Oftentimes, it's something quiet, a quiet moment when we are sharing with someone, or they ask a question that maybe you had set aside, and now they've asked the question, and that person you wouldn't have thought necessarily they'd ask that question, but it becomes a prompting from the Spirit to get back to that thing, to get back on track with that spiritual discipline or whatever the case may be. So I've got an assignment for you. A second one, besides wearing bright colors, is I want you to think about moments and settings and situations and times and places where you have experienced the Holy Spirit. The Spirit's work in your life, at your work, in your homes, in your activities, in the games you go to, and the things that you do. Where you've experienced Christ, where you've experienced God. All of those are tied together in the Trinity, but where have you experienced God, the Spirit, or Christ's work in your life or in your world? So if you're willing, on Saturday or Sunday, I'm going to ask some at the beginning of the message to share those things. But if you'd like to share those with me outside of the message, maybe that's not your thing to stand up in church and talk, and that's perfectly okay. I would encourage you, my email is going to be down below this video in the weekly email. But it's trinityalivepb, as in peanut butter, @gmail.com. And I would encourage you to email me your stories, your experiences, your times when you've experienced Christ and the Holy Spirit and God at work in your life. These things are important for us to think on and to reflect on and to share with each other how the Spirit is at work all of the time around us, in our world, in our lives, in our community, and in and through all of those different places and ways that we go about our daily lives. So 2 assignments. Think about how the Holy Spirit's been at work. If you're willing to share it, that'd be great. Wear bright colors this weekend for worship. See you this weekend in worship. Bye-bye.